Story 1: The confrontation with Jill. I finally snapped back at her insults, and now half our friend group wants me to apologize. I refused, and it started a huge fight. Here's the background: I'm 33F, and my friend Beth, 34F, has an older sister, Jill, 38F, who has hated me since we first met. Jill always called me a weirdo, a freak, and said I deserved the bullying I got at school, because I was such a dork. I stopped visiting Beth's house because of Jill. I didn't see her again until Beth's 18th birthday, where Jill told people I was harassing her boyfriend. I literally said hello to him, and that was it, because I was too ugly and weird to attract my own guy. Thankfully, Jill moved away not long after, and I was just glad to be rid of her. Now, Beth and I arranged a dinner reservation with the other three in our group: Liz, 33F, Kelly, 34F, and Megan, 34F. This was our first real chance to see each other in over 2 years due to various reasons, and we were all looking forward to catching up. Beth offered to drive Kelly and me to the restaurant since neither of us can drive, and I have chronic fatigue syndrome, CFS, and several types of chronic pain, so traveling isn't easy for me. We caught a bus to Beth's flat together, but it was Jill who answered the door, which shocked us both. Beth hadn't told us Jill was visiting, and we would have appreciated a heads up since neither of us has good history with Jill. Still, we were polite. Kelly said hello and complimented Jill's dress, and I said, "Hi Jill, nice to see you. How have you been?" Jill completely ignored Kelly and turned to me, saying, "Better than you, clearly. Still a pale freak, aren't you?" I couldn't help it and snapped at her. At least I'm not a bitter hag still clinging to grudges I started with a 12-year-old. "Maybe it's time you grew up a bit." Jill immediately ran off screaming for Beth, and said she wasn't taking us anywhere until that C word. Apologizes, which confused Kelly and me because why would she be taking us anywhere? That was when Beth came out and revealed her car was broken, so Jill was meant to be driving us, and I shouldn't have been cruel to her sister. Beth said that's just Jill's humor. Kelly called BS and said Jill is a bully, and that she was only surprised I hadn't snapped years ago, and told me I better not apologize. I said I had no intention of doing so. Beth said, "Well, you can make your own way to the restaurant then," and kicked us out. Kelly and I called Liz and Megan to update them and say we'd be running late since we now had to pay for a cab. They were split. Liz thought I should just apologize because Beth is siding with Jill, and it would cut the tension, but Megan thought this was long overdue and Jill had it coming, and Beth needs to accept her sister's actions have consequences. In the end, I refused to apologize, and we got a taxi, only to find out Beth was refusing to join us over what I said to Jill. This was a week ago, and Beth is now refusing to speak to any of us other than Liz, who told her she said I was at fault until I apologized to her sister. The reactions to this whole thing had me feeling I was going insane. Kelly and I were both really confused about why Beth didn't warn us beforehand. She knows our history with Jill isn't pleasant. TBH, I'm seriously considering cutting Beth off for this if she keeps reacting this way. Thank you for your comment. Writing this all out has made me realize I have been too forgiving of Beth over the years, especially where Jill is concerned. I think I will be cutting ties with her for sure. Update: realizations and decisions. I've been friends with Beth since I was 12. She was one of the few people in our year group who didn't bully me. Since Liz, Megan, and Kelly are all friends with her as well, it's been easier to just put up with her. But it's getting ridiculous now, and I'm seriously considering cutting Beth off for this and just dealing with the fallout. Who TF holds on to 30-year-old drama? It's honestly bizarre, but this is exactly the same as she acted when we were in school. I do not understand her at all, or what she hoped to get out of this. Nobody did anything when it was a 17-year-old picking on a 12-year-old. Beth and Jill's family acted like it was fun, and my own family was so caught up with the in-school bullying I didn't tell them about Jill's comments because, honestly, compared to what I faced at school, it was so minor. I've definitely had my eyes opened about Beth and Liz because of this, and I am thinking it's time to cut them off. Beth definitely. Liz, I will give a final chance to apologize. Why stay friends? I've been thinking about this, and I cannot think of a single thing I have missed about Beth in the 2 years since we last saw each other. Our group sure plenty, but Beth herself, no. As we've grown older, we've clashed more and more, especially about my health, and I bit my tongue a lot for the sake of our group. But I think I need to have a quiet word with Megan and Kelly, to let them know I'll be cutting contact with Beth and Liz. Commentary and support. Shadia 4376 NTA. She is a bully and always was. Do not apologize under any circumstances. Beth knows exactly who her sister is and still sided with her when Jill was clearly in the wrong. Shame on Beth. Unrepentant squirrel Beth didn't have your back and she is not a good friend. She is an ah. Jill is an ah. You deserve better. Madavi's op. Beth has been this way for 21 years, and nothing has changed. What makes you think it'll change now? The damn 1962 NTA. She can give it, but she can't take it. That sort you don't apologize to, and Beth is an A2. Gosh, what a pair. 38 and running to 34 because another 34 was mean to her. This is a playground dispute, and you called it. I'd be wary of Beth. She caused this by not telling you Jill was going to be there. Shadia 4376 agreed, and then she backed up her sister who was clearly in the wrong. I almost hate to say this, but one thing I've realized over the past few years is that the people who tell you not to apologize because it's a sign of weakness have a point. I used to think that it was some borderline sociopathic power play thing, but really it's just about not being walked on. In this case, Op did nothing wrong, so apologizing would just be admitting I'm a doormat, and you can walk all over me. Don't get me wrong. If you did something that merits an apology, you should apologize, but don't do it just to keep the peace or some nonsense. Final update: cutting ties. Hi folks, a lot of you asked me to update after my last post to let you know what I decided to do. Thank you to all the commenters who let me know I was not going crazy. Liz and Beth's insistence that I apologize was making me second guess myself, so I appreciate your help. Most of you also pointed out Beth's reaction was enabling Jill, and Liz's reaction was expecting me to roll over in the name of keeping the peace. I've come to realize that this has been a pattern for years in our group, playing peacekeeper to Beth and Liz for the good of the group, not only for me but for Megan and Kelly as well. So the update: I still haven't heard from Beth, but Liz has been bombarding me with texts and voicemails saying I was out of order and owe all three of them apologies for how I acted and for continuing to drag things out. She even suggested as a way to start making it up I should take everyone, including Jill, to a restaurant and pay for everything. I have no desire to spend what would be a month's rent on their drinks bill alone. Not to mention I don't feel I've done anything wrong. Frankly, that she even suggested this only persuaded me more to cut her off. I met up with Megan and Kelly last night and told them that I'm not apologizing to Jill. Frankly, she's stuck in her high school mean girl era, and I'd be glad never to see her again. I also said I am sick of swallowing my feelings to avoid tension because Liz and Beth never apologize, and I am cutting contact with Beth and Liz. I was expecting protests about breaking up the group. I did not expect Megan to admit she's only stuck with Liz for so long because, like me with Beth, Liz was one of her only friends during her bullied years, and she didn't want to ruin our dynamic by acting out of turn. Or for Kelly to say that for years she's been sick of Liz and Beth treating the three of us like we're inferior, and she was worried if she spoke up about it she'd lose me and Megan as well. We all had a very overdue chat about how we all really feel about this group and agreed that Beth and Liz are not true friends to any of us. Kelly and Megan showed me their messages from Beth and Liz, basically painting me as a villain, so we've all blocked the pair of them and made plans for just the three of us to go out on the weekend. It's been so liberating not having to deal with their drama this past week. In hindsight, I think Beth's always been a bit of a flying monkey for Jill. Hopefully this will be the end of it. If anyone asks, we'll be honest, but I can't see them backing down anytime soon. Kelly, Megan, and I will make new friends and be far happier for it. Thank you again for all your support and good advice. Story 2: The Cornhole Tournament Conflict. I, 25M, recently hosted a backyard barbecue and cornhole tournament at my house. For some context, I moved to a new city last year for work, and have been trying to make friends in the area. I joined a local cornhole league and have been hanging out with some of the guys outside of the games. The barbecue was supposed to be a fun, casual event, and I invited a mix of people from the league and some co-workers. One of the guys from the league, Mike, 27M, is really competitive. He's always taking the game super seriously, which can be a bit much sometimes, but I figured it would be fine since it's just a friendly get-together. Things started off great. Everyone was having a good time, and the games were going smoothly. But as the day went on, Mike's competitive streak started to come out. He began criticizing people's throws and getting visibly frustrated when things weren't going his way. During one of the matches, he started arguing with another player, Tom, 29M, about a scoring disagreement. It escalated quickly, with Mike shouting and getting in Tom's face. I stepped in to try to defuse the situation and told Mike to calm down, reminding him that it was just a friendly game. Mike didn't take it well. He accused me of taking sides and said I was only defending Tom because we're co-workers. The atmosphere got really tense, and a few people looked uncomfortable. Mike eventually stormed off, leaving the party early. After he left, I tried to salvage the mood and keep things going, but it was clear that the vibe had been ruined. A few people left shortly after, and the party ended earlier than I had hoped. Now, some of the league members are saying I should apologize to Mike for embarrassing him in front of everyone, while others think he was out of line, and that I did the right thing by stepping in. Mike hasn't reached out to me, and I'm not sure if I should be the one to extend the olive branch.